Welcome back, guys, to Doc Lale Talks Comics. This time we have two books for initial assessment, and it's first up is Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice. So we get to see Green Lantern, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. I haven't seen the Flash or Cyborg yet, but you get this Victorian era league that pops up. You still get Lex Luthor, but you get Oliver Queen that is carrying the Green Lantern ring. You get Diana of Themyscira. You get this version of Superman, who again is from Smallville. You get Killer Croc. And you get even Harlequin. So this is pretty much. Now look, if you go back in time and pull a Victorian person out of there, I don't think they're going to agree that, this is a perfect one-to-one story, that the language is perfect as to the way that it was spoken back then, but it has a very classic feel to it, and it's got character. It's got excitement. It's got all of these different elements that come together, and you get to see that John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, is trying to mess with Oliver Queen, and eventually he says, nope, not going to fall for that, and we can play that both ways. And so he shows John Jones his family that he lost. So this league is a loose conglomeration of characters. It's not really a Justice League per se. There's a lot of infighting and things like that. But in the end of the day, you get these classic characters in this classic format. I didn't want to read this before, even though one aspect that really drew me to it is Leonardo Fernandez's artwork. I've seen his stuff on Hulk years ago and really, really enjoyed it. So it was fun to see that he's still around and still doing absolute bang-up artwork. I mean, just amazing stuff. Stuff that you're not used to seeing. I love to see that. That reminds me of something, out of a Darryl Banks Green Lantern comic. But at the end of the day, I'm definitely going to say that this one is one that you need a first and second dose of, if nothing else. I didn't want to read this because I read the original Gotham by Gaslight, and I kind of feel like these miniseries, after the fact, are kind of a cash grab instead of actually trying to build something upon this world. But hey, Andy Diggle is an amazing writer. I've spoken about him before when we talked about the Swamp Thing series with Enrique Breccia in another video. So I've got nothing but good things to say about this particular book, and I think you guys should definitely get a dose of Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice, issue number 1. All right, and the next book that I've got here for us to talk about is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring. So this is a prequel, I believe, to the original Beneath the Trees. But we still have Samantha here, and then we have Monica Brewer, who is trying to find what happened to her brother. I had to bypass that page because it was not safe for work. But you get Monica, who's just intent on finding what happened to her brother, and she doesn't care about going out with her coworkers. She doesn't care about finding love or finding anything like that. She just wants to find who killed her brother and what happened to him. She wants that closure. And in that closure, she will find happiness. So eventually, she gets attacked in an alleyway by a couple of thugs, and all of a sudden, she gets this message, and it says, hey, if you want to find what happened to your brother, you should go to Woodbrook, Vermont, where she ends up running into Samantha. And actually, I guess it's a sequel because the sheriff makes the comment that a couple of years ago, one of the locals was killing people, but they figured out who it was. So it's a sequel to the original, okay? So I got it confused. But the tight pacing, the artwork by Horvath, all of these things all come together to give you the same feeling from the story that you got in the original miniseries. You get a feeling of this is going to be an interesting turn because Samantha knows that she's the one that killed Daniel. So unfortunately that has kind of come out of the bag already. But she also wants to see exactly, I think she wants to play games with this woman. Kind of like Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter. She doesn't want to get caught, but she doesn't want to let this woman suffer in silence. She does have somewhat of a heart. And I know I've said that in a video before, and somebody came back and said that Samantha was just a flat-out serial killer, and my idea that she has emotions and feelings was not correct. I think that she still feels something, I really do, but maybe this is more about trying to figure out her prey, trying to figure out exactly how smart this woman is. Where do I need to go from here? How much should I tell her? How much should I not tell her? And am I going to reveal myself in the end? So you get this amazing watercolored cover. Like I said, it looks exactly like the first miniseries, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So both of these books, if you can pick them up in your local shop, I would recommend that you get a dose of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring, as well as Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice. Just know that both of those are a mouthful. So if you can email your shop rather than having to call them and ask for both of those by their full titles, I would just say Beneath the Trees sequel, and then I would say Gotham by Gaslight, the new miniseries. Just go from there. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me again. I love doing these videos, and I love getting to check out new number ones. Was there any new number ones this week that I missed? Please let me know in the comments below, and I will try to hunt them down on eBay or at the shop, or one of my local shops anyway. All right, guys, thanks for joining me again, and again, this has been Initial Assessment. So catch you guys on the flip side. Have a great week, and we'll see you then.